Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and to our coffee times together. I hope you are all ready because this week, I was just thinking I have been a couple of weeks of isolation already. I have a couple more weeks in front of me of isolation that I'm gonna have to be home, and I'm feeling like I need a horror sprint. So I bring you this year's very first 24 hours evilathon.
It's coffee time!
So last year I created my own readathon in order to help people read a bit more horror and also to push some people's boundaries when it comes to horror books, people that just want to try horror but they are a little bit insecure, or just people that like me are obsessed and really love horror, just to give them a reason to read horror books for a whole month. And that official readathon takes place in the month of November. It's the whole month. It's a monthly readathon, and I decided that it would be cool for this year to make a couple of weekend, just 24 hours readathon in which we read a horror book and watch a horror movie together. So this readathon is very spontaneous, so I hope that you guys still can participate. It's going to be this next Saturday, the 4th of April. So it's going to start Friday night at midnight and it's going to end Saturday night at midnight, so 24 hours. However, if anybody wants to extend this until Sunday and make a 48-hour readathon, be my guest. I might do that myself as well, but if you just want a 24 hours readathon, it's going to be this Saturday. Now, because it's only going to be one day officially, perhaps two for you, I didn't want to make like prompts for this because that would make it a little bit more complicated. However, I wanted to help the people that need recommendations or would like maybe an extra challenge, would like to know which type of book or movie they should watch. So I have called in the help of a very special witch. Her name is Ola, and she has made a tarot reading for you guys. There are 4 different groups in that tarot reading, and each group gets different kind of topics to help them pick books and movies related to those topics. It is fantastic, it is beautiful, and I am so thankful that she did that for us. So before you watch my recommendations, and because my recommendations are based on those 4 groups, you can go first to check OLA'S video that is linked down below. Check which group you would like to choose and then come back here for the recommendations. Now, if you want to watch this first to the end and then go watch the tarot reading, it's perfectly fine, but be aware that I'm going to be spoiling what the groups are about, so you've been warned. Let's start. So I'm not going to give you too many details about all of these options so that this video is not going to be super long, but I'm just going to give you a couple of ideas of books and movies that might fit these groups. So group 1, what she got from the cards is creepy kids, material possessions, new starts, fucked up family, trying to escape, hardships, trapped, trying to survive. So for this, and basing my choices more on the first card, which was creepy children, I have for you, as for books, The Influence by Ramsey Campbell. This involves a family, involves creepy children, and involves trying to survive. We have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson, another classic one, including family, creepiness, supernatural, children. And the last one that I've picked is The Bad Seed by William March. This is a 50s book that kind of started most of these creepy children stories that came later on, and it's still a really good read. And this one even has a movie, just in case you want to check it out. Oh, The Influence, by the way, also has a movie. So for movies, I chose The Prodigy from 2019, which is a sort of different movie that includes a creepy kid, and the ending for me was fantastic. Then we have The Omen from 1976, and this is a family. The baby is stillborn, and the father goes and adopts an orphan without telling the wife, and the orphan it's a little bit more evil than they expected. It's a classic of the creepy children's stories. And we have also Children of the Corn from 1984, because it's based on a short story by Stephen King, and I have also a very soft spot for Children of the Corn. I really love those movies. Are they the best? Probably not, but I really love them. They're very corny. Oh god, this isolation is gonna be the end of me. Other ones that I want to give honorable mention is The Woman in Black, which also has this kind of creepy eerie vibe, and Village of the Damned, which is one of my absolute favorite classics, black and white creepy children movies. I never have forgotten about this movie since the very first time that I watched it, and it's fantastic. So group 2, my friends, group 2, we have Isolation, Naive and Making Mistakes, Deception, Someone Creative, a clever person that looks for smart and solutions and not jumpy scary solutions. So these are the themes, tropes that group 2 got. And my book recommendations for this would be The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. So I have based obviously my choices more on the isolation part. This is a married couple and their kid that go into a cabin in the woods and then are visited by strangers where they are completely isolated from the world. They have no phone working, no internet, no nothing. And we have The Terror by Dan Simmons, which is an expedition that gets stranded in the Arctic. Another classic, really good story about people that get isolated. We have A Winter Hunting, also another one by Dan Simmons. It is this former professor and author that goes to this abandoned farmhouse, and he thinks, you know, he's gonna be there by himself and have some alone time that he wants, but he's far from alone. And the last one is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. This one is a very short book, so this is perfect for a 24 hours readathon. And it's basically about Robert. He is the last human standing on Earth. Everybody else has turned into a blood-sucking vampire, so he's isolated in his house trying to survive. Great stories, love all of these. And for movies, we have The Shining by Stephen King. Hi, and this is the movie adaptation from Stanley Kubrick. You can also read the book, of course, because it is a family that is stranded, isolated in the Overlook Hotel over winter. Another movie is Hush from 2016, where a person that is deaf is living alone by herself in this house in the middle of the woods, and she becomes an unexpected visitor. We have Hostel from 2017. This is a post-apocalyptic scenario. Really loved it, and I chose this one because the main character gets a little bit stranded in this post-apocalyptic world. She's by herself and she has to come with really creative, smart decisions in order to survive. Then we have Creep from 2014. This girl that gets basically locked in the tunnels in the underground, and you know, she needs to try to escape. We have Escape Room. There is a version from 2017, and another, the most popular movie that everybody knows is the one from 2019. So we have people that have been put kind of trapped in a place, and they have to get creative, smart ways of getting out. The last one I would like to mention is one of my new favorite movies of all times, and that is The Lodge, that came out this year in 2020. And it is this woman that is put in a cabin in this lodge in the middle of nowhere in deep winter, snowed in with her 2 stepchildren, and yeah, things get really wild in this one. Moving on to group 3. So for this, the topics that were pulled and chosen by the cards were looking into the future, making choices, new directions, family traditions, inheritance, breaking traditions, holding your ground, protecting yourself, working together. So these are the rough topics that I got. And basically for books, I would like to mention The Winter People by Jennifer McMahon, which basically there is some strange disappearances of people in a town, and a family has to work together to figure out what happened. We have A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, when a family is torn after the daughter starts to manifest schizophrenia. We have The Amityville Horror, any book about it because it is a haunted house, and families that go there are being hunted. They have to work together. They have to, you know, stand strong to fight the evil. And we have The Elementals by Michael Mcdowell. It's a family that is looking for a summer place where they'll be left alone, but they're not alone, as we all know. And for movies, family and inheritance, what comes to mind first? Hereditary from 2018, the debut film by Ari Aster. This is so messed up and disturbing, just letting you know. Ready or Not from 2019, we have Samara Weaving playing a character of this girl that is marrying into a family that is very special, and basically they have built their money and business towards games, and on her wedding night she's asked to play a game with them. Fantastic movie. We have A Family Blood from 2018. This doesn't have the best reviews ever, but it is all about blood ties. It is a woman that is recovering her addiction when she meets another man that also has an addiction, but it's not drugs, it's blood. And we have The Conjuring from 2013, because basically we have a family helping another family whose house is haunted. So we have Ed and Lorraine Warren helping this family. So it's all about, you know, facing things together, keeping strong. Yeah, so all of that for group 3. And now we're moving to the last group, group 4. So for this we got topics like secure person, you know, person that is not scared, looking for adventures, but then something dark happens and there's something maybe supernatural that happens. They try at first to run from it, but then they realize that they have to fight against it to survive. So honestly, this all sounds to me like my typical road trip group of friends. You know, they feel like they are so strong, they're so cool, and then something happens, you know, go to shit. They start to freak out and run away, but then they realize that if they don't stand their ground and they don't fight back, they're all gonna be killed. So this was what I got from this group 4. And for books, I have The Ruins by Scott B. Smith. Is a group of friends that is trapped in the Mexican jungle where they're doing a holiday. This is very messed up, just putting it out there. We have Joyland by Stephen King. I really like this one. This one is short, and it's about this girl that gets a summer job in an amusement park and a lot of supernatural stuff happens. I thought this was a great short book by Stephen King. I think it's also a good book to start reading Stephen King. So this might be something you would like to try this weekend. And then we have as well In the Tall Grass by Joe Hill and Stephen King. I chose this one because it is a short novella, so it's only 60 pages. So if somebody cannot really do much, at least 60 pages should be doable in a whole day. And it's about this brother and sister that are on a road trip to another city where they're being stopped in the middle of the road because the sister has to puke. And they hear a kid calling them from inside the tall grass, and they make the mistake of going into the tall grass. So, and then we have The Forgotten Island by Davy Sodergren, and it's two sisters that want to reconnect after drifting apart, and they go to this trip to Thailand, but then they find themselves stranded there. They have no radio, no food, so it becomes kind of like a survivor story. And let's go to movies. So we have The Cabin in the Woods from 2011. It starts like the typical story of a couple of friends going to a cabin in the woods, and then it all turns into this magnificent blood fest, and it's fantastic. We have House of Wax from 2005, because it's a group of friends that think they are untouchable, they are these pricks, it just ends up being a real fight to survive, and I loved a lot of aspects about this movie. The ending was fantastic. It didn't make sense logically, but the images that you get to see are pretty cool and freaky. And of course, I wanted to mention one of my personal faves, which is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. This is one of the first movies of, you know, a group of friends driving, find this house where this I don't know, dysfunctional family? Do you think dysfunctional will cut it for them? And they realize that there is a lot of horrors going on in this house. I remember the first time I watched this movie, I was very disturbed and very disgusted about it, but you cannot just help but love it. And then I wanted to mention two more of my faves. The first one is Jeepers Creepers from 2001. You know, basically two teenagers driving on the road, they find something they shouldn't have found, and now the creeper is coming for them. And the ending of this movie was sublime, loved it. And the last one that I would like to mention is Wrong Turn from 2003, another typical story of a group of friends that are trying to run away from something really disturbing that they found in the woods, but then they decide to fight back. And this has created a big franchise. They already have 6 Wrong Turn movies, and I think they're working on the next one. Of course, the first one is the best, and then after that, you know, give it or take, there are better or worse parts, but it's definitely a fun slasher. So these were all the recommendations that I had to mention. I tried to make it quick so that I could mention a lot of different things to give you options. You might find your own. Of course, there's a lot more books and a lot more movies that fit these topics, but I just wanted to give you a couple of general ideas. I hope you guys are going to join, even if it's to watch just one movie or to read just one book. It doesn't matter. The important thing is participating and reading or watching a little bit of horror. If you're somebody that, you know, you don't love horror so much but you still want to participate, you can maybe choose to read something that is spooky, like a spooky middle grade or a mystery thriller YA, or something that it comes a little bit closer but it's not as brutal maybe or as messed up as horror. You know, I just want everybody to have the option to participate. And if you are looking for any other topics specifically, you can always ask me for recommendations as well. Thank you so much already beforehand for all your support. Please give the video a big thumbs up, and if you want to follow me in other social media so you also see when I'm announcing this kind of readathons and other cool stuff, all the links to my social media can be found in the description box down below. And I hope to see you all in the next coffee time. Bye!